Hello everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to hear more meaningful stories.
The sharp rhythm of Charlotte Morgan's heels echoed along the glossy sidewalk, slicing through the hush of early evening like a metronome of power. She moved with the effortless grace of someone who had conquered her world, a billionaire before 30, swathed in an emerald blazer that clung to her like armor. The rain had just passed, leaving the city shimmering under a gold-blue sky, reflections of street lamps rippling in puddles at her feet. Her blonde hair was swept back, every strand immaculate, every step purposeful. As she scrolled through her phone, mentally juggling back-to-back meetings and press calls, a piercing voice shattered the symmetry of her world. "You will die tomorrow." Her head snapped up. Standing alone on the empty sidewalk was a boy, no older than 7, barefoot, skin smudged with dirt, shirt torn and hanging from his frail frame like a flag of warning. His eyes were sharp, too sharp for a child, and they locked onto hers with unsettling intensity. "Excuse me?" she asked, more annoyed than alarmed. The boy stepped forward, his voice trembling yet resolute. "Don't get in your car today. Please. Something's coming." A chill brushed her spine, but she laughed it off. Bright, sharp, dismissive. "What is this? Some urban fairy tale? A little street prophet trying to spook me?" She tossed her head back, laughing harder now, her diamonds catching the light, that her authority unshaken. The boy didn't laugh. He didn't even blink. "I'm warning you," he whispered. "There's a shadow that wants you. If you get in the car, it will take you." Charlotte's smile faded just slightly, her fingers curling tighter around her phone. Then she scoffed, straightened her spine, and waved a hand as if swatting away a mosquito. "Go home, kid, if you even have one." Without another glance, she turned and walked off, her heels clacking faster now. But in the pit of her stomach, something cold had begun to settle. The next morning broke clear and sharp, sunlight slicing through the skyline like a blade. Charlotte stood in front of her floor-length mirror, draped in a crisp navy suit, every detail of her appearance polished to perfection. The boy's words from the night before flickered faintly in her mind, but she dismissed them with a shake of her head. Superstition was for the weak. "Let's go," she told her driver as she slipped into the back seat of her sleek black Mercedes. The car glided through the city like a shark through still water, its tinted windows sealing her off from the chaos of the outside world. Charlotte leaned back, scrolling through her phone, mind locked on a billion-dollar contract. The world outside blurred into motion. Then, screeching brakes, a blaring horn. Her driver shouted, "Miss Morgan, hold on." She barely had time to look up before a massive delivery truck, its driver slumped unconscious behind the wheel, veered violently into their lane. Tires screamed, metal snarled as the Mercedes swerved hard, missing a concrete barrier by inches. Charlotte was thrown against the seat, her heart slamming into her ribs like a caged animal. The truck roared past, so close she could see the cracked windshield and the limp figure behind it. And then, silence. Thick, suffocating silence. Her hands trembled as she tried to catch her breath, her mind replaying one line over and over. "You will die tomorrow. Don't get in your car." Her phone slipped from her grasp. Every inch of her body screamed with adrenaline. She had laughed at a child's warning. Now she had nearly died. That evening, the lights in Charlotte's penthouse blazed against the darkening sky, but the usual comfort they offered felt distant, artificial. She sat alone, cradling a glass of wine that trembled slightly in her hand, eyes fixed on the city sprawling beneath her. The near-death experience still pulsed in her veins, raw and vivid. Then a sharp vibration against the glass table. Her phone. A security alert lit up the screen. "Threat detected. Target, C. Morgan. Remain in secure location." Her breath caught. Cold fingers of dread wrapped around her chest. First the boy, then the crash, and now this. Something was closing in. Panic climbed up her spine. She stood, pacing across the marble floor, her heels now bare, her hair unpinned and wild. "Find him," she snapped into the intercom. "The boy from yesterday, the one on 5th and Larch. I don't care how. Just bring him to me. Now." Her staff fanned out, scouring the streets. She stood at the window, arms crossed tight, eyes scanning the night as if Isaiah might materialize from the shadows. Hours passed. The wine soured, her blazer wrinkled. The certainty in her voice from the day before had shattered, replaced by a growing desperation. She barely noticed when her phone buzzed again, this time softer. A voice came through the speaker. "Miss Morgan, We found him. Her heart stilled. She turned. And there, standing in her doorway, was the same boy. Dirty, tired, barefoot, yet his gaze was as steady as ever. Charlotte rushed to the foyer, her breath caught in her throat as her eyes met his. Isaiah, small and worn, his clothes still clinging to his thin frame, his feet bare against the marble floor. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then, she dropped to her knees, her voice shaking. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Please, tell me how you knew." Isaiah's eyes, far too old for his age, didn't waver. "My name is Isaiah," he said quietly. "I see things before they happen." Charlotte blinked, confusion etched across her face. "How?" Isaiah glanced away, then back. "I don't know why. After my mom died, I started dreaming. The street is my bed now, and sometimes in the middle of the night, the dreams come. Bad ones. People who never wake up." His voice cracked, but he kept going. "Last night I saw you. I saw your car, the truck, and something else. Men. They're watching you. They want your money, but they'll take more." Charlotte's breath grew shallow. The image of the near crash, the alert, the fear that had stalked her all day, it all began to sharpen. "Are they still coming?" she asked. Isaiah nodded, slow and certain. "If you get in your car again tomorrow, you won't come back." Tears welled in Charlotte's eyes, her walls crumbling. "What do I do?" she whispered. Isaiah hesitated. "Stay here. Hide. They'll look for you. But not tonight, tomorrow." She reached out, took his small hand in hers. "Stay with me," she pleaded. "Just tonight, please." Isaiah shifted, uncomfortable. "I don't belong here." Charlotte held on tighter. "You saved my life," she said. "You belong here now." Charlotte didn't sleep that night. The penthouse, usually her sanctuary of glass and steel, felt more like a cage of whispers and shadows. Isaiah lay curled up on the oversized couch, wrapped in a thick blanket, his breathing steady while hers raced with every creak and flicker. Outside, the city pulsed with its usual rhythm, unaware that a war was being waged inside her soul, between disbelief and a terror she could no longer ignore. At dawn, the sky turned a dull gray. A call came in from her head of security, voice tight with urgency. "Miss Morgan, 2 unidentified men were spotted near your vehicle this morning. They fled when approached." Charlotte's stomach turned to ice. "Description?" she demanded. "Armed, gang affiliations confirmed, most likely hired." Her hand gripped the phone so tightly her knuckles turned white. Isaiah had been right. Again. By midday, police confirmed the 2 suspects were part of a crew known for orchestrating violent robberies disguised as carjackings. Only this time, they had planned to do more than rob. Without Isaiah's warning, Charlotte would have been in that car. She would have died. As the truth settled in her chest like a stone, she found herself sitting beside Isaiah once more, watching him sip hot cocoa, the steam curling around his small face. "How do you see what you see?" she asked gently. He looked down into the mug. "It started when my mom got sick. We didn't have money. One night, I dreamed she disappeared. The next day, she was gone." His voice thinned, the weight of it pressing into the space between them. "Since then, sometimes I dream, and I just know." Charlotte reached out, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "You've been alone ever since?" He nodded. A long, aching silence followed. Then she whispered, voice thick with emotion, "You'll never be alone again." Isaiah looked up at her, something soft flickering behind the steady storm in his eyes. And for the first time, the boy who saw death allowed himself to feel safe. The city carried on beneath them, oblivious to the quiet revolution unfolding inside the glass tower above. Charlotte sat in her grand living room, the skyline stretching endlessly behind her. But her eyes were fixed only on Isaiah, this fragile boy wrapped in a borrowed blanket, who had upended everything she thought she knew. His small frame sank into the cushions, but his presence felt immense, like gravity itself had shifted around him. She had spent her life commanding boardrooms, negotiating with titans, and building an empire brick by unshakable brick. Yet here was a child who had seen death before it arrived, who had pulled her back from the edge not with power, but with truth. She reached over, gently taking his hand again, her fingers wrapping protectively around his. "You changed everything," she said softly, voice quivering with something unfamiliar, humility. "You saved me when no one else could." Isaiah looked at her, eyes still too old, still too quiet, and for a moment he said nothing. Then, just barely, he nodded. Outside, traffic buzzed, the world unaware. But within these walls, something rare and irreversible had begun to grow. Not just gratitude, but devotion. Charlotte Morgan, the woman who had once laughed in the face of a prophecy, now held the hand of a prophet. And in that stillness, a silent vow passed between them, one life saved and another finally seen. Sometimes the greatest warnings come from the most overlooked voices. Never underestimate the power of intuition or the courage it takes to be heard. If this story moved you, make sure to subscribe for more powerful and emotional tales that stay with you long after they end. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We love hearing your stories too.